This is the appointed time and we have a quorum. Please be seated. We'll start the election of chairman and deputy chairman for the 2019-20 session of the panel on commerce and industry. And please note that according to Rule 77(6) of the ROP, a member who is the chairman or deputy chairman of a government advisory body in respect of matters which the panel considers to be directly related to the terms of reference of the panel shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of the panel. ROP 77(7) also provides that a member shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of more than one panel at the same time. According to the election procedure set out in Rule 22 and Appendix 4 of the House Rules, I now invite nominations for chairman. A valid nomination should be made orally by a member, seconded by at least one other member who should not be a member being nominated and accepted by the nominee. Nominations, please. Mr. Stephen Ho. I nominate Mr. Jimmy Ng, who's a bit shy. Who seconds? Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. You didn't catch what? Mr. Stephen Ho. Whom did you nominate? Mr. Jimmy Ng. Seconded by Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Mr. Jimmy Ng, do you accept the nomination? Yes, I do. I nominate Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Mr. Wu Chi-wai nominates Mr. Wong Ting Kwong. Anyone seconds? Mr. Wong Ting Kwong? I am chair of the Business Facilitation Committee of the government. I am not qualified to be elected as chairman of the panel on commerce and industry. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, you're clear? Any other nominations? I'll count to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just one nominee, Mr. Jimmy Ng, thank you. Mr. Ng, please come forward to the chairman's seat. Thank you. Thank you, members, for your support. We'll proceed to the election of deputy chair for the panel on commerce and industry. A valid nomination should be made orally by a member to be seconded by another member. And the member seconding the nomination should not be a nominee, and the nomination should be accepted by the member so nominated. Mr. Wu Chi-wai, you nominate Mr. Alvin Yang. Who seconds? Mr. Ray Chan. Mr. Alvin Yang, to accept? Yes. All right. Any other nominations? I'll count to 3. 1, 2, 3. We do not have another nomination, so Mr. Alvin Yang is returned deputy chair of the panel on commerce and industry, uncontested. Would you like to come forward? Item 2. Schedule of meetings for the 2019-2020 session. In accordance with the usual practice, the regular meeting of the CIP will be held at 2:30 to 4:30 p.m. on the second Tuesday of each month. The regular meetings schedule has been tabled for members' reference. I would invite members to agree to the schedule for regular meetings. That is the third Tuesday of each month, 2:30 to 4:30. Apart from the policy briefing and meeting proposal, which will be held on the last Tuesday of October. All other regular meetings will be scheduled to take place on the third Tuesday of each month, and if there is no objection, a notice will be issued by the Secretariat to inform members about the agreed schedule for the 2019-2020 session. No objection, right? Next items for discussion at the next meeting. Would members please refer to the following papers issued by the Secretariat on the 14th of October 2019. That's Appendix V to LC paper number CB bracket 1 4/1920, list of outstanding items for discussion, and Appendix 6 to LC paper number CB bracket 1 4/1920, list of follow-up actions. And then for the regular meeting to be held in October, the policy briefing and meeting will be held at 2:30 on the 29th of October, Tuesday, with two proposed items. First, briefings by the Secretary for Commerce and Economic Development, Secretary for Constitutional and Mainland Affairs, and the Secretary for Innovation Technology on the CE's 2019 policy address. That's item number 1 on the list of outstanding items for discussion. We estimate 2 hours of discussion for this item. And then second item on the list of outstanding items, new support measures for SMEs. This item involves a funding proposal. We will allocate 1 hour for this item. As we estimate a total of 3 hours will be needed, the meeting time will be extended by 1 hour, and that is from 2:30 to 5:30 in the afternoon. As for the agenda items for the remaining months, as per the previous practice, together with Deputy Chair, we will hold an internal meeting with the relevant policy chiefs to discuss agenda items for December to June meetings of the panel. And if you have any proposed discussion item, please inform the clerk of this panel in writing before the 25th of October, Friday. Mr. Yu Siwing, regarding support measures for SMEs as item 2 for the October meeting. As we all know, in the recent months, because of the anti-extradition bill scandal, SMEs have been under a lot of pressure. And if we only focus on the dedicated fund on branding, upgrading, and domestic sales, I don't think it is enough. I think we should widen the scope. Apart from the several funds, we should look at more specific measures so that we have more data for reference under the current atmosphere, and also a wider scope of support measures to tide SMEs over during these hard times. Yes, Mr. Holden Chow. Thank you, Chairman. This morning, the Economic Development Panel also mentioned the same point. Because the U.S.'s Hong Kong Human Rights Act has just been passed by the House of Representatives, it will be forwarded to the senators, and I think possibly there will be impact on our economy and the business environment. So, Chairman, I wonder if you would hold a joint panel meeting with the Economic Development Panel to look into this issue. That is, if the piece of legislation is passed, what will be the implications and how should we deal with it? Because the business environment definitely will be affected locally. This morning, the ED panel already mentioned that this also involves the CNI panel. Right, I will liaise with Mr. Zhong, the chairman. Dr. Loy Kwok. Thank you, Chairman. Because of the legislative amendments to the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance in recent months, there's been a scandal, and the social unrest and riots seem to be endless. People's livelihood as well as SMEs, businesses have been hampered, and I'm happy to learn that we will soon know more about the new support measures for SMEs proposed by the administration. I hope the Secretariat would remind the administration that the paper that they submit should contain more data relating to the business environment for the for commerce and industry, because when we meet with friends from the C&I sectors and when we go out dining, we learned about the harsh situation. And in fact, many restaurants have closed down as a result. So I think the data will be important. Apart from citing the support measures, the administration should explain in greater detail about the severity of the situation. More importantly, we need real figures so that members as well as the public would understand better how severe the situation is. Dr. Priscilla Leung, Chairman, I'd also like to follow up on the U.S. Human Rights Act relating to Hong Kong. I don't think the general public is well aware of what it is. Those in the know fully understand the far-reaching implications on our local economy and businesses. So apart from the suggestion made by other members that whether we should have a joint panel meeting with the other panel, we should seriously consider holding a public hearing. We should invite the chambers of commerce, etc., because various sectors of the community should be able to air their grievances so that the public would understand, first of all, how great the impact is on Hong Kong. And second, since they have their own parliament, I think our legislative council should also make a stance. We should stand with the people, especially for the C&I sector. We are the victim. I mean, they can pass any legislation, and we can do the same. The point is, there must not be a bias, especially for the panel on commerce and industry. We should send out this clear signal or message. Instead of relying on a handful of legislators, we should really let the public's grievances be heard. So I hope you will seriously consider holding a public hearing. And then we can form a clear view. We can have a resolution showing the true voice of the people. All right, thank you. Your point is noted. Mr. Peter Shiu. Chairman, regarding the saga surrounding the Fugitive Offenders Ordinance, it's been a few months. And also recently the U.S. passed the Hong Kong Human Rights Act. And in fact, some members of the public queried whether this is just an act with collaborators in the whole process. For example, some legislators dared to visit Hong Kong and claim that he had not seen any violence in Hong Kong. I wonder if we could write to the U.S. House of Representatives, because U.S. is a major country and our major trading partner. We want to know the ins and outs of these incidents. We want to know the participants of these incidents and why the incidents have been escalated to the current situation. Because we need to have a balanced view as a member representing the business sector, and we are having the CI panel meeting. We definitely need to make ourselves heard. And in November, I understand that we will receive a briefing from the Hong Kong ETO officers, and I'd like to know about the Hong Kong ETOs overseas, whether they've explained to Western countries what exactly is going on. We need to invite them, and they are tasked to help us explain to them what is going on in Hong Kong. I think this is what we can do.
Mr. Lam Kin Fong. Thank you, Chairman. There have been many reports about the U.S. endorsing an act. We see that they have only heard one side of the story, and even the name Hong Kong was spelt wrong. So on many occasions, they make a decision on insufficient information. For example, the business sector, Hong Kong people feel that the American decision was not based on a comprehensive assessment. So I feel our LegCo should step up some efforts under these circumstances. The U.S. consulate in Hong Kong, they say they have met people in Hong Kong. So maybe they have met with people they've chosen to visit, and their colleagues might stay in a hotel and not even turn on the TV. They just interview one or two people and believe everything that is said. So even our LegCo colleagues and yesterday on the news, a victim's mother came out and stated she believed the victim died of suicide rather than being murdered by police and dumped the body into the sea. So we also have different situations. If we continue to have Hong Kong people, including our legislators, disseminating fake news, misleading the Hong Kong public, and mislead government officials of foreign countries, it is a significant, it has a negative impact on us. So we need to disseminate real, actual information, not fake news. So I agree with colleagues who said that we are very concerned. We are concerned about the future of Hong Kong's development. Some people say that the U.S. decision will spread over to the UK and Germany and so on. So we need to report what is going on in the front line, what is happening in commerce and industry, because outsiders might have a very limited or selective view of events. So we need to have a comprehensive discussion on Sino-US trade and so on. So that will be up to the Venerable Chairman to decide. Thank you. Next, agenda item number 4, AOB. Regarding the regulation of cosmetic industry equipment, the Commerce Industry Panel and Health Affairs Panel have set up a joint meeting group, and in December 2018 it started work, and their term will end in December this year. So if members agree, we will issue a notification to invite members to join this working group. And for existing members of that working group, if you have not stated your intention to leave, you will continue to be members of the working group. And the working group, in its first meeting of this year, they will decide whether they need to elect a new chairman and deputy chairman. Do you agree with that? Do you have any specific objections? If not, then let's leave it as such. Do we have any other AOB? If not, then meeting adjourned. Thank you.